Welcome to remembrance-kjv.com. This is video number 12. In this video, we take a look at Yuruba number words. Yuruba are a people who dwell on the West African coast that spans from northwest Nigeria through Benin into some parts of Togo. Their habitation forms part of the area believed to be Thomas Fuller's homeland. They have a number system that is based on a vigesimal system of counting. The number system goes on like this: 1 kan, 2 meji, 3 meta, 4 merin, 5 maroon, 6 mefa, 7 meje, 8 mejo, 9 mesan, 10 mewa, 11 mokanla, 12 mejila, 13 metala, 14 merinla, 15 medogun, 16 merindinlogun, 17 metadinlogun, 18 mejidinlogun, 19 mokandinlogun, and 20 ogun. Let us try and put some understanding on the word constructs of these Yuruba number words. Number words for 1 through 10 seem quite distinct, but those for numbers 11 to 20 take some particular scientific trend. 11 is Mokanla. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, formerly Zaïwa, the word Moko means 1. If the same meaning applies among the Yoruba people, then Moko should be taken to be an alternative form of the word Kan. As a result, the number word for 11 has the first part of its construction made up of the number word for 1. 12 is Mejila. Meji is 2, to which the suffix LAA is added to form the number word for 12. Meta, the number word for 3, forms the first part of the word construct for the number word for 13, metala. 4 is Merin, and 14 is Merinla. At 15, there exists a situation almost similar to that of 11. The number word is Miedogun. Mied should be from an alternative form for 5, in the like manner as we have Moko as an alternative form for 1. 16 is Merindinlogun. Merin is the number word for 4. 17 is Metadinlogun, and Meta is the number word for 3. 18 is Mejdinlogun. Meji is the number word for 2, and 18 is 2 less than a score. 19 is Mokandinlogun. Mokan has the same meaning as Kan, the number word for 1. Word constructs for the number words from 11 to 14 indicate an increase from 1 to 4, and from 15 to 19 they show a decrease from 5 to 1. The last part of the word constructs for number words from 11 to 14 is La. So it's Mokanla, Mejila, Metala, and Merinla. This is not different from the way we call number words for numbers 13, 14, 15, 16, and so on. One thing to note is that the suffix la starts immediately after 10 and is unlike the suffix tin of the decimal system that begins with 13 and not 11. From 15 to 20, the last part of every number word is ogun, and ogun is the number word for 20. From 16 to 19, the word construct that connects every first part to the last part, ogun, is dinl. This connecting word construct implies subtraction from ogun by a magnitude indicated by the first part of the word construct. So, merindin logun, the number word for 16, is interpreted as 4 less than a score. 17 metadin logun is interpreted as 3 less than a score. Mejdin logun is 18 and is understood as 2 less than a score. And finally, 19 is mokandin logun and is understood as 1 less than a score. Let us come to the number word for 21, mokanle logun. Mokan is from moko and is the number word for 1. Ogun is 20. In between is a connecting word construct lel that implies an addition. Mokanle logun is interpreted as 1 and a score. Mejile logun has the meaning of 2 and 20. Metale logun is 3 and a score. Merinle logun, that is 4 and a score. And 25, miedogbon. Mied has the same meaning as maroon, and ogbon is 30. Miedogbon is therefore interpreted as less 5 and 30, or to be indirect, that is 30 less 5. 26. Merindin logbon, if interpreted in reverse, is 30 less 4. When metadin logbon is interpreted in the same way, it is 30 less 3. Mejidin logbon is understood as 30 less 2. Mokandin logbon is understood as 30 less 1. And 30, that is ogbon. The same pattern is followed for numbers 31 to 40. 31 is mokanle logbon, which is 1 and 30. 32 is mejile logbon, which is 2 and 30. 33 is metale logbon, which is understood as 3 and 30. And 34 is merinle logbon, which is 4 and 30. 15 and 25 use the word construct mied to represent the magnitude 5. But in 35, the construct maroon is used, and 35 is maroon din logoji. Ogoji is 40, hence maroon din logoji is interpreted as 40 less 5, using the same interpretation as before. 36 is merindin logoji, which is 40 less 4. 37 is metadin logoji, 40 less 3. 38 is mejidin logoji, which is 40 less 2. And 39 mokandin logoji, which is 40 less 1. And lastly, ogoji is 40. Let us consider what can be said concerning Yuruba number words. Yuruba number words begin by naming units instead of scores and tens. A similar pattern exists in some Bible verses. Genesis 11:20. And Ru lived 32 years and begat Sirach. Instead of saying 32 years, it says 32 years. 2 Kings 12, verse 6. But it was so that in the 23rd year of King Joash, the priests had not repaired the breaches of the house. The book does not say in the 23rd year, it says in the 23rd year. 1 Chronicles 20, verse 6. And yet again there was war at Gath, where was a man of great stature, whose fingers and toes were 24, 6 on each hand and 6 on each foot, and he also was the son of a giant. Ezekiel 45, verse 3. And of this measure shalt thou measure the length of 25,000, and a breadth of 10,000, and in it shall be the sanctuary and the most holy place. From these records, one can detect the African origin of Bible number words. Yuruba number words are distinct from 1 through 10. Thereafter, they are heard as deviations by some units from multiples of base 10. Numbers 11 to 14 are heard as additives containing 10 and number words for numerals 1 to 4 respectively. Numbers 15 to 19 are heard as subtractives containing a score and a decrement of number words from 5 to 1 respectively. 21 to 24 and 31 to 34 make use of additive notation, while 25 to 29 and 35 to 39 make use of subtractive notation. This trend in number words goes on and on like this in Yuruba number words. We shall repeat, say, one observation and point out another, the two of which we have regarded worth noting. The English number word 13 means 3 and 10. 14 means 4 and 10. And 15 means 5 and 10. This interpretation goes on like this till we get to 19, which is 9 and 10. In Yuruba number words, numbers 11 to 14 have a similar interpretation. Instead of the suffix tin, Yuruba number words from 11 to 14 use the suffix la. 11 Mokanla is interpreted as 1 plus 10. 12 Mejila is 2 plus 10. 13 Metala is 3 plus 10. And 14 Merinla is interpreted as 4 plus 10. From this observation, there arises a possible hypothesis that numbers that contain the suffix t originated from a number system in which they formed the second half of a base, say the high complex part of base 16, base 20, or base 24. So 10 could have been used to mean half of any such possible base. Using additive notation to represent the numeral notation of these bases gives us base 16 in this format. We have numerals 1 to 8 forming the lower complex, and then dot 1 to dot 7 forming the high complex part. For the vigesimal base, we have numerals 1 to 9. 10 is represented by a vertical reflection of 9 and is known as a deck. The high complex part is represented by numerals dot 1 to dot 9. For the bidecenal base or base 24, numerals run from 1 to deck. 11 is represented by a horizontal reflection of 3 and is known as elk. 12 is represented by a capital letter L. The high complex part is represented by numerals dot 1 to dot elk. To avoid confusion arising from the use of terms, the first number of the high complex number, dot 1, shall be referred to as 15 and not 11. The second, or dot 2, shall be referred to as 17 and not 12. Dot deck shall be referred to as decteen, and dot elk shall be referred to as elkteen. The most likely base from which the teen phraseology originated is base 24. The reason being that the phraseology begins with the number word 13, which is 1 more than a dozen, the which is half base 24. Let us go further and invent number words for base multiples of high complex numbers. I had initially suggested that a number like dot 10 shall be referred to as festino irrespective of the base in which it is used. But I have discovered that such a construction is too long to favor mental arithmetic. So I reduced the name. Festino is reduced to festo. Dot 20 shall be referred to as seco. Dot 30 shall be referred to as theto. This goes on like this, and in base 24 it passes through dot deck 0, which is deco, and dot elk 0, which is elco. The numerals of the vigesimal base are easily represented as this. However, if Yuruba number words are understood, the high complex numbers are represented like this. They consist of additive notation from numbers 11 to 14 and subtractive notation for numbers 15 to 19. This takes us to the second observation, the existence of subtractive language for numbers 15 to 19. If the same observation is applied across the hexadecimal and the bidecenal bases, the hexadecimal base will look like this, and the bidecenal base will look like this. If Yuruba numbers are used to predict the origin of negative numbers, it is possible that negative numbers did not originate as numbers below 0, but rather as units of numbers presented in subtractive notation. It is most likely that this is the form of understanding that was in the background of the mind of Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi when he wrote of squares, roots, and numbers in his work Al-Muqabala. When we shall visit his work, it will be realized that the argument of the existence and non-existence of negative numbers is not yet over. After all this assessment, it is difficult to assert that such a number system as the Yuruba number system originated spontaneously outside the careful thought of scholars or outside the diligent commitment of public educators. It was designed scientifically. Thank you for following my channel. Meet you in video number 13, where we'll take a look at Yuruba numbers and multiplication.